Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to TRG Central. This is episode 1 of the Road to the Triple Crown series. Episode 1 will cover the prep races in January from week 1 to 5. But before we get into that, I just wanted to show you a little sample of the issue 0 prep races for the board game, which is in PDF form. Oh, let's see if we can get over there and take a look at it. Okay, now that I found it, let's slide it over here. And this is the board game version of issue 0, the prep races, or the Road to the Triple Crown series subscription service. So, once you get by the first page, we get into all the horses, all the jockeys that are available in issue 0. Next, I put all the horses and jockeys on horse cards, similar to the horse cards that are available for the board game. And then after that, you see the Triple Crown schedule. And this is the Road to the Triple Crown in 2023. First race on the schedule is the Smarty Jones Stakes. That'll be the first race that we run on the Windows side. Other thing that I can take a look at is sometimes the fields are greater than 10 horses, which means that we need to split it up into either 2 heat races or 2 division races. Okay, take a look here. You may see this MF Davis has all of 11 horses, so I needed to split that up in 2. You run the 2 heat races, and then the final race for the Sam F. Davis Stakes would be filled in with the field from the previous 2 races. In this case, we run the 2 heat races, probably the one with the worst time is out, all 10 others move on, and you would add them to the finals race. And you see the field has not been selected, it won't be selected until after you run those races. Okay. So anyway, I think that's about it. When you get down to the Triple Crown weeks, you'll see that none of them are filled in because you'll fill them in based on how your horses ran in the prep races. And you can see right here, Lexington Stakes is the last prep race on the schedule. Once that's completed, you can set up your Kentucky Oaks and Kentucky Derby fields. Once you run those, you can go to the Preakness and Black Eyed Susan, and then finally the Acorn and the Belmont Stakes. And again, that's just a preview. You'll also have the horse cards in the issue also. Okay, so let's go ahead and get back to running the schedule. And heads up, I won't be advertising the subscription service and the rest of the issues. We'll just go straight to the top 10 horses and then do the races. So we have the field for Mother Jones. And if you haven't locked it, you can always use the edit the field. The field adds in is, and the post position is what they were in real life. So, but you can add horses and delete horses, whatever you like, and save it. Now, what you need to know about saving is if you save a new field, that field will delete, that process will delete the old field for the race. So just be warned that once you start changing the fields for these prep races, the original field will be lost. You have to go back and reinstall the data disk. Okay, you can also randomize post position. As I mentioned on the other screen, those post positions that show up there are what the post positions were in real life. And the other button is the scratch a horse. You can scratch a horse outside of the editor. When you do that, then the original, I'm sorry, the original field stays intact, and just the horse that, or horses that you scratch will just not participate in the actual running of the race, but you would still have the original field intact. You can also skip the race if you want, or you can, and if you think everything's all set, you just click on the lock. It locks the field, and that allows the game to run the next scheduled race that's locked. So go ahead and let's just click it. And there you go, we have 8 horses in the field. And as you know, there's a lot of 99 to 1. Now, I do have a parameter because I think some of you have noticed that the warning line can go over 100 to 1 in the original setting, but there is a parameter, and that parameter will override putting in something like 210 to 1 to 99. You know, cap it at 99. So just taking a look at this would tell me that most of the horses have ratings probably in the 70s, maybe 60s. And you can see Angel Empire is the favorite horse. He's the favorite. He's the highest rated horse in the set at 94. So let's go ahead and get this race started. Okay. There's your horses. There's the field. Angel Empire is the one you'd be looking for at 47. We'll be running these in spectator mode. So let's see what we have with the regulators. Definitely want to slow this down. Remember what the regulator was for our run before. So let's go ahead and start the race, and we'll tweak the spec, the regulator if this race happens to be a little fast for the next race. So I guess we're going to be off. See what tower says everything looks good, so let's go. And there you have it, and you see Angel of Empire is the winner. Probably a very, very good bet if we were wagering. Okay, so that's it. Angel Empire wins. Buster got second. Victory Formation was third. In case you didn't realize it, but every race has Kentucky Derby victory points that can be given out, and that's for first, second, third, and fourth. Okay, so that's it for week one's races. It see we're now on week 2, and we now have that allowance race that we had created in episode 0. So just to show you the qualifiers, so now we get to refresh, and you see Empire. You see Angel Empire has 10 victory points. So that race was not much of a victory point getter. It is early in the season. As we get into the March and April races, your victory points will get higher. Okay, Angel Empire, what's his victory formation? How did he do that? 10, 4, 2, and 1. And that we're going to go over to a report because we do have that allowance raise. So let's go ahead and pick up a report that will help us fill out the allowance. Okay, so we go to horse schedules, and we're going to find the horses that haven't ran yet, and we'll put them that haven't have no scheduled races in the schedule. And these are all the horses, and we'll go ahead and save it. And then we export it, finish the display of it. So here's the display of the file. So we'll keep that handy when we fill out the allowance race. Okay, so let's get back to the schedule. And now we're on week 2. We have the Sham Stakes, the Jerome, and the allowance race. Okay, let's go ahead and lock these. Take a quick look at the field. So here, look at that. Bob Paffett trained 3 of the 5 horses. He's probably a sure bet to come in first and second, if not third too. Oh, and the other thing I probably forgot to tell you, last time is here's your Kentucky Derby point that the horses will get if they come in first, second, third, or fourth. This race has 7 horses. Its trainers are a little spread out, they're not like the other race. And this is being run at Aqueduct. Okay, so now we'll need to do something with the allowance race. So let's go ahead and add the field. And we're gonna put 6 horses in. So let's take a look at this. And then we'll randomly select the post position too. And we're gonna just go with, let's see, this is open to 3-year-olds, so fillies and colts can participate. Let's go with Gulfport. Find Gulfport. And again, we'll get to slide them into the field. We'll randomize post positions when we start. The handicap rate, you see Gulfport normally has 112. We're gonna make them carry 114. And then we'll use, as you see here, Tony Tyler was his main jockey. In fact, probably might have been the only one that ran in any of the prep. That was the rider in any of the prep races, so we're going with Tyler. Let's see what else do we do. Let's do Itzos. That's an interesting name. And you can see both of these guys are 65s. Again, we'll have them carry 114. Corrales is in the jockey, and you see Itzos has 2 jockeys that rode him. And it can display up to 3. Um, let's go with bling bling bling. 3 is a 70. It's a carry 122. Next, let's get a fill the end. Let's go with 2 links. Links has Paco Lopez on her. See, Paco Lopez is one of the 2 jockeys. She carried 118. We'll do the opposite. We'll only carry 116, which will give her a little minor advantage as far as carrying weight against the boys. That's 4, so we'll do a couple more. Let's do Mo's Dash. So it says, it's the jockey, he'll carry 1. He'll carry 118. And we get 1 more horse. And who would that be? Let's go with Circling the Drain. That's an interesting name. It's a 72. I'll have him carry 123. Okay, just quick thing about the weight. When the weight is different from what the normal carrying weight of the horse has, if you carry more weight and it's in 2, for every 2 pounds more, his card will be lowered. If the opposite, like we did with length, since we had her carry less weight than she normally does, her card will get better. So you'll be playing with modified cards if you decide to change the weight different than what their normal carrying weight is. Well, let's go ahead and save the field. And that's all done. So now we shows it, edit the field, and we can do this, and then we'll just take a quick view to make sure all the horses and everything look correct. Turn. One other thing I want to do here is we're going to X out of this, and we're going to go to the view the reports for the horses, and you'll find the horse schedules, and hopefully those horses will change. So we know Mo now has the race. Let's see if Mo. Yep, there you go. Mo's Dash is allowance race, and you can probably find all the other ones, and you'll see that they are now officially entered into a race. Well, anyway, I just wanted to show you how that new report works. Go back to the schedule. Let's run week 2. Okay, everything's locked. First race up, the Jam Stakes. That's at Santa Anita. And you can see here, this is a little better, even though Reincarnate is definitely the favorite. We'll go ahead and start the race. Speed regulator probably should go down just a little more. We'll put it at 5. And we'll go ahead and start the race. And right here is the field, so you're looking at Reincarnate is in position 3. Let's start the race. And Stewart Tower is giving it out, everything's fine. And we're off. And I have it also set up that if the other jockey has at least 3 or more movement points, 4 movement points left over, popped up the message and I have the option of manually trying to do a better job. So I'll say yes. I'll click the undo button and get horse 1 back to where it started. And then now I can manually move it. So I have 13 movement points left. So we'll go ahead. And if you want to do the slip, you have to have at least 1 jockey point. There aren't any, so slip is not available. Let's back up then and try another route. So, if you get into any of the turn lanes, it costs you 2 points to move sideways. If you're in the straights, it'll cost you only 1. So we'll go ahead. We have 2 sideways we can move up to, and pretty much have a straight track, at least around for this turn. So we'll go outside 2. And then use up the rest of Newgate's movement points, and you see actually past both. Horse 2 and 3 is just trailing. Past horse 2 and 4 is just trailing Reincarnate, which is the favorite. And then we come back up to next neighborhood, we just resume. And there you go, the race is finished, and look at that. Reincarnate was up there, there's Newgate National Treasure. Finished the race. And there you go, National Treasure first, Newgate second, and Reincarnate third. Fourth is pun intended. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next race. That's Jerome. Take a quick look at the field again. Turn and click on this. It'll run the next schedule. Since this is done, it moves on to the next race that's locked. Hey, here it looks like this is a very, very close race with really no standout horses. They all looks like they're pretty evenly matched, so this could be a pretty interesting race. So again, we'll put the speed regulator down to about 5. And there's your field. And there are the end. And shoot in after that. And this is a 1 mile, 8 furlong race. Go ahead, and we're off. And it looks like for 6, General Banker wins the race. There you go, General Banker first. Neural Network second. Lurgan Knight third. And then Zanzay fourth. Okay, let's move on to the next race, and that will be our allowance race. We'll take a quick look at the field that we created, and looks like everything's a go. Now you see here, we have it set up that they will win any Kentucky Derby points. They'll just select the purse. Well, this race really has no bearing on the Kentucky Derby finals other than if you wanted to do any tiebreakers with winning, they do have a chance to pick up some money. Go ahead and run it. And this time we're going to randomize the post positions like we had thought. And you see it's only for this race, so if you ever want to run that race again, it will default back to the original settings. So there you go, we have Ithos is now in post position 1. And there's your odds for this race. And it looks like Most Dodge is the favorite. There we are with Thistle Town. Remember, we talked about this in episode 0. It'll be interesting to see if any of the jockeys try to avoid that. Let's slow this down. I'm gonna slow it down to 3. Start the race. And they're off. Oh, they look like they just went through it. Horse 4 has leftover points, so let's see if we can do a better job. Now the problem here is if he moves up 1, he cannot get in front of a horse, so he have to go at least here and then go outside. And then he can maneuver all around if he wants. He only has 1 outside movement point, so it may not be the best thing to do. Anyway, go ahead and move here, we'll move him there. And we'll let him go through this. Now we can use the slip because he has 1 jockey point left, but instead we can do a forward sideways thing. We can do. Oh, he has no alright, he has no forward movement, so he's done anyway. And that turn, and we'll resume the spectator mode. And there you have it. Looks like most times the favorites won the race. He was 10 lengths ahead of bling bling bling. Okay. So that ends week 2. As you notice, week 3 says skip. There are no horses or races in week 3. There's no race chart assigned, so we skip to week 4. And then we have another allowance weight. I put that in just a while back off camera. And so we'll need to add fuel for this one. This race is 9,000. Another handicap rate, conditions good. Oh, and we're running this one at another new racetrack that you can pick up. And that's Catalan. Okay, so let's go back to our list and let's grab about 6 horses again. Okay, let's do one filly. Let's go with wet paint. Wow, that filly's rated a 90. Maybe we better not do that. That's probably because we don't have very many prep races for the fillies. Some of the fillies were in the top 100 that didn't get an opportunity to run in any of the prep races that we have in the game. So let's back off on that horse. Let's try Princeton Pet. $67 out, much better. And Franco. And again, this is a handicap, so we'll give her an advantage. I only have with her carry 116. I would throw a couple other, but how about Colamone? Oh. He's 61. I'll have him carry 120. Let's go with Hurricane J. Yes. Carry 114. All Night Moonlight. 4. And 122. And we'll pick up 2 more. Oh, at Tyler's Tribe. 3113. And one more. Just one more. Let's see if horse originally bred in Japan. And hero. Let's see what his rating is. Yeah, 76 stuff there. Put him in there. All the jockeys are different. He's gonna have 120, and we'll save it. So now we can lock both of these. We'll view the semi shapes. Echo again. 2 fields. Instant copy. Let's go ahead and get week 4 started. First up is the Holy Stakes. We have a confidence game in favor. 2 fields is second. Go ahead and start the race. Get this down to 3. And well, and there you have it. It looks like 6 came up to win. That is now confidence game. Okay. That's it for that race. Review the allowance rate that we just created. That's all good to me. Again, the allowance rate didn't score any points. And you see the state. First place horse at 20. Remember the other races, they were getting 10. So they upped the ante already. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this allowance rate to end the week. Do the randomized post position. And there you have it. Mandalorian Hero is Fox. He's the one bred in Japan. And he's the favorite. Good track condition, so let's go ahead and run it. There's your field right here. And this is an odd track, and you see just running 8 for a mile race. And this one is actually in the turn, which could be pretty interesting on this first turn. Should say the first game turn. And they're off. And we have an interesting finish here. All 3 horses. Solomone, Mandarin Hero, and All Night Moonlight. All finish in the last space. Let's see what the photo finish has to say. And there it is. We have All Night Moonlight defeating Columbia and Mandalorian Hero, looking at nose and a neck. What a race that was. Okay, so that finishes all the races in week 4. Let's go ahead and do week 5. You see this winner gets 20. We'll lock it. We'll take a look at the field. And let's interesting. Let's go and run the race and get the odds. There's the odds. What they get is El Tomato, both at 99 to 1. Lots of departures not to get. Arabia Night looks like the favorite along with Red Route 1. Oh, then they're running on the floppy coils too. So go ahead, they're all lined up in the starting gate. Do the big regulator. Run spectator mode. And they're off. And then pull that bolt. Sun thunder. Sun thunder. Uh-oh, still an inquiry that might change the order. And what do we have? Oh, no followers. The two of them coming on Ultimo, Tomato, and no follow. Oh, that's the official results. Thunder, Arabian Night, and Western Salt. You see them both linked behind the one. I imagine one of them in either a nose or neck behind Western Gone and the nose and neck behind Arabian Night. Western Gone did pay off. So look at Sun Thunder, $40. Okay, so that's it for the month of January. We're now in February, and now we'll start episode 2 with the running of the Holy Bull Stick. And our scheduler, let's go refresh the top qualifiers, see what's going on. Ooh, look at Sun Thunder and Two Fields both have 20. Angel, General Banker, National Treasure, all with 10. You can see that Western God actually has been in 2 races. So let's take a look at that. We'll go and view reports, the horses, and we'll do stats. Let's take a look at the horse stats. And go down to Western God. And there it is. He does have 2 races, came in 2nd and 3rd. So we can do this. We can come up here and go over to cards and past performances. Click on past performances. Type in W for Western Gold. And there he is. And then the Southwest Stakes and the Smarty Jones. So he was in our first race on the schedule. So just a few other, showing you a few other things that the game does track. So I think that's going to be it from TRG Central. This is Gary signing off. Remember, episode 2 will have the cup races for February. Good night, all.